I ended up taking some classes with Girl Army, which is a collective that's also part of Sugetsukan. And it's a peer taught collective for women and trans folks. It was a very interesting experience walking in and seeing all these people doing all these techniques and grappling or all these. It was very intimidating. Started sword because it was actually more just because I thought it looked cool, but I didn't realize that sword was going to have such an impact on me. Taiwan was colonized by by Japan for about 50 years, and so there was a lot of that correlation.
Toyama-Ryu Batoto, a traditional Japanese sword art named after the academy where it was born, Toyama. It coalesced under the guidance of one student, Nakamura. The system incorporates katas, solo practice, kumitachi, two-person drills, and tamashigiri, target cutting. One of Nakamura's students, Obata, brought the art to the United States. In the States, Obata taught Mike Esmailzadeh, who then continues the art of Toyama-Ryu Batoto in Oakland, California at Sugetsukan Dojo. One of Mike's students is Fei Chang, who is on the road to keeping the art alive.
I was born in Taiwan. I think the thing that really felt really intense and comforting too at the same time is was the smell of the tatami mats as people started bringing their mats in, and the way the wind just wafted the smell into the dojo, and that felt really comforting because that was the smell that I grew up with. And then like just even just putting on the gi, that the ritual itself feels really great. I think the biggest part that I'm still trying to be comfortable with is me, like me being comfortable, more competent than I am. But it's hard. There's that personal judgment that there's self critique that comes in a lot. 3 months in, there one day there was a teacher that I just couldn't get this technique right, and no matter what I did, it just wasn't right. And the teacher was very firm and just kept pushing me. Kept wanting me to figure this out instead of. I wish that she would let me stop. I wish that I could say, please, I don't want to do this anymore. And then she tapped me on the leg with the boken, and I completely broke down, and that was it. That was my first time where I was actually actively crying on the mat. And so I had to take a break and go to the back room, and then Mike came over and we talked, and we had a lot of talk about what does it mean to do martial arts. And martial arts it has a violent history. I met Mike Sensei and his partner at Occupy. They were teaching a security training, and so I was part of this committee that just decided to participate. And I just thought Mike was very interesting and a cool cat. I remember his walk. Like, I thought there was something wrong with his walk, and it turned out like, oh no, he's just a martial artist. That's just how he walks. This is this interesting glide that he has, especially when he's in that fight mode. Mike's been through his struggles, and I think that's another thing too, is he's had to work his way to where he is now. And I think that that's what makes him a special teacher, because he knows what adversity is. He's been there, and he's able to connect with you. The atrocity that was committed by the fascists, the Japanese fascists during World War II, and the beheadings and the tortures that were implemented using this sword, this katana that was supposed to be. It's supposed to be this like this. It has so much. I think the sword was supposed to have this noble or this grace, this like strength about it, and it was used to hurt civilians who couldn't even fight. And so we talked about that, and like what it meant for him to teach sword in this particular type of lineage, and and also like the moral ethical components. the idea is like, how do you forgive the people that have hurt, and then how do you forgive yourself? Because I think it brings a lot of shame, to feel this, to feel the hatred, to feel the anger, to feel so much of it. And the thing about martial arts that I found was there was a lot of support in that rewiring process to feel more regulated. Because like martial arts is now, I think it's very much a big part of my life now, and I think preserving that. I was thinking more about like preserving what my teacher, what Mike Sensei has taught me. I mean, that's, I think this is again another hard subject. Like, how do because like I can learn about all the history, the culture, or the legacy of what we're doing, and I think there's a sadness because you know you end up modifying these techniques, and then it becomes your own in some ways, and so in the end, it almost feels like, what is actually the original? Like, what is actually happening? Because we have pictures and we have descriptions of how techniques were created, but it took human beings to make it happen. I just hope that the people who are continuing the art, or continuing the philosophy of the art, will be true to it, and will also be able to honor it in a way that feels respectful, which I hope that I can do as I continue to progress in this art.